Are you ready to take control of your financial future? Barry Watts with WealthCare has the strategies you need to plan for a successful retirement. Whether you're planning for retirement, saving to live out your dreams, or looking to grow your wealth, Barry has resources to guide you every step of the way. Barry and the team at WealthCare develop customized plans to help you achieve your financial goals. Welcome to Watts on Wealth with Barry Watts.
Preparing for and saving for retirement could be a challenge for all of us, but for you small business owners, there are some unique challenges and concerns. On Watts on Wealth, the TV show, we're going to be talking about some ways that you can prepare for retirement if you're not retiring from a corporate job that has a 401k. I'm Ralph Hipp along with Barry Watts. Barry, we're under the lights, camera action. Great to see you again. And I know that small business owners, you know of what you speak. This is a topic we really want to dive into today.
Well, it's a topic I'm excited to talk about today, Ralph, because I am a small business owner. And helping small business owners like myself pay less in income taxes and generate more in tax-free retirement, that's really my specialty, and it's something I feel extremely passionate about.
We're going to find out later in the show some of the story of when you were on your own and how you grew the business, so we'll look forward to that as well. But some stats for you. 1/3, 34% of small business owners say they don't have any retirement savings plan at all. Barry, what does that tell you about how prepared or maybe how not prepared some of these small business owners are for their own retirement?
Well, what it tells me, Ralph, is that many small business owners don't really own a business. They have a job that owns them instead. You see, a business allows you to step away, and it keeps operating and generating income and profits even without you there running it. So if you're required to be there in order to create revenue, then you have a job instead of a business. Now, Ralph, when you tell me that 1/3 of business owners don't have a retirement savings plan, what that tells me is they are serving their business instead of their business serving them. We like to help business owners turn that the other way and create businesses that serve them.
Also, flipping it around, Barry, that means 2 out of 3 small business owners don't have that plan.
That's exactly
correct. And they
correct.
don't have that confidence in running their own business.
That's right. And, you know, we're all hard workers and we go to work and hang out our shingle and put our name up. But sometimes it's important to have other people running the plays and you be the coach of the team instead.
And many of you small business owners, you're struggling to keep your doors open with all the changes in the economy the past few years. A lot of small business owners might be ready to call it quits. Are you among them? Well, Barry, how do you talk to people who might be considering an early retirement after they've been running their own businesses?
Well, we talk to them the same way that we talk to anybody, Ralph, because it's all about income in retirement and whether what you have saved is enough in retirement accounts to actually meet your needs and get you where you're going. And of course, one of the great assets that many small business owners have is not necessarily money in retirement accounts, but it's actually the value that they have in their business. That business could be worth millions of dollars. And if it is, that's got to be turned into monthly cash income for a business owner to be able to retire. So I think it's a bit more difficult for a small business owner because they have to disconnect themselves from the business and they've got to extract their wealth from the business. And that's a bit harder to do. But we can help them do that at the WealthCare Corporation because we've helped other people do it before.
So hope you will call Barry and get that set up, talking especially to you small business owners on the show. One of the challenges for those of you who own or work for a small business, you have that lack of an employer-sponsored retirement account. So let's talk about the options for retirement for them, the retirement savings for people who don't work for a big-shot employer.
Well, if you work for yourself, there are multiple options for small business owners when it comes to saving for retirement. So I just want to talk to you about 2 of them today, Ralph. The first one are IRA-based plans, like a SEP IRA or a simple IRA. Now, those are for self-employed individuals or employers have at least 1 employee. And a simple IRA is for any self-employed individual or employer with 100 employees or less. And the reason we call them simple is because there's a little less paperwork that's involved in them. Then we move up to the 401k plans, a self-employed 401k. This is for anyone who is self-employed as a business owner with no employees. It's funded by the employer. Now think about that. It gets confusing for a moment because you're the employer, but you're the employee. It's funded by the employer, and there are contribution limits that the employee can make. And the owner can't take any money from the plan typically until they're age 59 and a half, or the plan is terminated, or there's another life event that qualifies them to withdraw without any penalties.
Well, for everybody, that transition into the retirement years can pose some real challenges. All of you will experience a lifestyle change when you leave your job behind. So, Barry, for my next question, talk about guiding people in this transition from saving to living in their retirement years.
Well, I think of a friend of mine, Bruce Miracle, who retired fairly recently from Evergy, the old Kansas City Power and Light. And he was talking about this in my office just a few weeks ago. And he said that when guys at his company started talking about retirement, he warned them that you can't be thinking about retiring until you know what you're going to do every day from 8 to 5. You have to have a plan for how you're going to spend your time. Otherwise, you may go crazy or your spouse may go crazy. Now, another friend of mine, Jim Vetter, he's a retired physical therapist. He said that he knew he'd worn out his welcome at home when his wife says, "It's about time for you to go fishing." So what I want to say to anybody who's planning to retire is figure out what you're going to do with your days in retirement. That's one of the most important steps you can take.
We'll take a break here and continue talking about some of the challenges in retirement for you small business owners as Watts on Wealth, the TV show, continues right after this.
When it comes to planning for the future, time may not always be on your side. Think about your taxes. Tax rates are historically low right now, but they'll likely be higher in the future. Our current tax rates are set to expire in just a few short years. With the right planning and strategy, you might be able to cut your tax bill in the years to come. But don't wait until it's too late to take advantage of today's lower tax rates. Let us be your partner in planning for tomorrow so you can enjoy your retirement today.
Planning for retirement can be complicated. Helping create income that lasts, making sure your health care is covered, investing while managing risk, and don't forget about taxes. If you're overwhelmed, you're not alone. The good news is we have what you need to give you confidence to start planning for your ideal retirement, all in one convenient resource. You'll get answers to some of your biggest retirement questions in this easy-to-understand, practical resource. And best of all, there's no cost to you. Take the first step toward a confident retirement and get yours today.
On the surface, your retirement plan might look solid. With your 401k or IRA, Social Security, investments, and insurance coverage, you appear to have it all covered. But what could you be missing? Below the surface, is your retirement exposed to too much risk? It's time for a deeper dive into your portfolio. We can help you uncover the risk that lies beneath the surface and learn about strategies to help preserve your savings. Get your free risk analysis today.
Welcome back into more Watts on Wealth, the TV show. We're particularly talking to you small business owners facing some unique challenges in getting ready to retire. Now, if you're your own boss, things do look a little different for you as you get ready for retirement, and you don't really just get to pick a retirement date and just walk away from your job. As for me, I used to work under contracts, and it was in the contract when my employment was over, my retirement started. Probably not for you. And Barry, one step that small business owners, they sure don't want to overlook is having a solid business exit strategy, right?
Well, Ralph, I think that when a lot of people go away from their business to exit it, they just think it's going to be the end of the business. And I probably think instead that they should think of it as a plan that will move the business on past them toward the long-term goals while allowing them to exit out, but the business to continue going forward. So all exit plans are going to be different depending on the size and the type of the business, but typically the end goal for all of them is to help create a foundation for future goals and new direction for that business. So you need to decide what's going to be done with your business when you decide to call it quits. Are you going to close it, liquidate, call the auctioneer and have a sale? Or are you going to sell it to a new owner who's going to take through? And it's best to think through your plans well ahead of time so you aren't making emotional decisions about your company and its future. So there's a template for thinking about these things, and we walk business owners through that template in the last couple of years of their working so that as they prepare to call it quits, their business can transition on to the future without them as they retire successfully.
And planning early for your exit strategy, there's a lesson there for all of us who will be retired someday. So plan early so you're not scrambling to throw something into place or making any emotional decisions, right, Barry?
Well, that's true, Ralph. And many people who are owned by their jobs, frankly, aren't the best planners. And it's okay to admit that. You know, the older I get, the easier it is for me to acknowledge the things I'm not good at and to hire other people to do those things. And that frees me up, Ralph, to spend more of my time totally focused on what I'm good at, helping business owners and retirees save hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes, some this year and some over their lifetime, and then turn that money that wasn't paid in taxes into lifetime free, tax-free income.
And Barry Watts can help you do that. So on this topic of owning a small business today, there are some similar steps for all of us that we may want to make and take as we get closer to retiring. And Barry, another step for the small business owners, you have to appraise the value of the business and the assets and all the investments the company has.
Well, Ralph, it's really easy to overestimate how much your business is actually worth. So it's good to get a valuation so that you have accurate numbers to work with. And we can help you get a third-party evaluation of the worth of your business. Now, if you were expecting a certain amount of money from selling the business for your retirement, but the business sells for less, well, that can be a real big problem for you.
Sure.
And the same thing with your assets and investments. If they aren't worth as much as you thought, then you'll either need to adjust your lifestyle or you'll need to figure out another plan for retirement income. So figuring out what your business is worth is tremendously important.
Well, we also have this final bit of advice for you small business owners getting ready to retire. And don't touch your retirement savings until that is absolutely needed. That sounds like a pretty solid exit strategy piece of advice.
It's important, Ralph, to understand the penalties that you will incur if you withdraw from a retirement savings plan too early. Now, some plans will make you pay a penalty to access the funds, and others might cause the account to either lose principal or to lose interest. And there's also a chance that you could totally lose out on tax benefits if you withdraw too early as well. So you want to avoid accessing retirement funds until you retire or until you qualify according to the rules of your specific plan to withdraw money.
Let me also get in another important factor. There are other people involved in that decision if you decide to sell your small business, the people who work for you. Whether the discussion might be with the new owner, will you keep all my people? Do I let them go? Have you negotiated some situations, Barry, with what happens to the other people, the employees on the staff, and what happens to them?
Well, it's really interesting because some employers are deeply committed to their staff and they will move heaven and earth for them. And there are other employers who frankly say, I don't care about them, I just want out, and we'll let them all scatter to the wind and do whatever they want to do.
You've seen it all.
And that's a part of getting to know the person who is our client. We're trying to figure out what it is that they want to do, and we build the plan accordingly. If they're not concerned about the employees, then we don't have to be concerned about the employees. But in most cases, the people we like to work with are people who realize they have a bigger responsibility than just to themselves, and they're concerned about the people who've given their lives to serve them, and they want to be sure that those people land softly and are able to transition and go on successfully to other things when that business closes.
And you mentioned that, Barry, and that's the way folks are in the Ozarks, very caring about their staff and their journey of faith, their journey of employment right there on Springfield.
A little bit more, that's true. That's not to say that there aren't other people around the country who are that way. There certainly are. But I think the Ozarks is a special place because I think we are just a little gentler, a little kinder there, to quote Daddy George Bush, kinder and gentler.
Yeah. Your 1,000 points of light.
We'll get to the 1,000 points of light. And a city sitting on a hill, but I kind of think Springfield is the shining city sitting on a hill. So there are a lot of wonderful things about the Ozarks. I've had opportunities to move my business to other parts of the country. Right. I've had people tell me, oh my goodness, Barry, do you know how much money you could make in New York? And what I've said to them is, I'd love to make that money, and I'll sign up for that, but you need to understand, every night, I'm going to lay my head down on the pillow in Rogersville.
There you go. Well said, Barry. Well, straight ahead on our show, Barry and I are back, and Barry will cover the important topic of pre-sale planning when it comes to preparing to sell your business. That's next in the Steps to Retirement Success. And later on, still to come, Barry will answer some of your retirement questions. So stay right here with us.
Planning for retirement can be complicated. Helping create income that lasts, making sure your health care is covered, investing while managing risk, and don't forget about taxes. If you're overwhelmed, you're not alone. The good news is we have what you need to give you confidence to start planning for your ideal retirement, all in one convenient resource. You'll get answers to some of your biggest retirement questions in this easy-to-understand, practical resource. And best of all, there's no cost to you. Take the first step toward a confident retirement and get yours today.
How does your future look in retirement? When you don't have a strategy, the future might look a little fuzzy. But with someone asking the right questions and helping you learn where you truly stand, it can become easier to work towards your goals. You need a plan to help generate income that will last as long as you need it. And the first step to creating an income plan is an analysis of where you are now. Let us help you bring your retirement into focus with your free income analysis today.
When it comes to planning for the future, time may not always be on your side. Think about your taxes. Tax rates are historically low right now, but they'll likely be higher in the future. Our current tax rates are set to expire in just a few short years. With the right planning and strategy, you might be able to cut your tax bill in the years to come. But don't wait until it's too late to take advantage of today's lower tax rates. Let us be your partner in planning for tomorrow so you can enjoy your retirement today.
On our show, Barry Watts has been explaining some ways to help you small business owners get ready to retire. And Barry, what can you tell us about the topic of pre-sale planning?
If you're planning on selling your business, there are some questions that will be valuable for you to ask yourself and answer in order to make a successful business transition. Is your business saleable as an ongoing enterprise, or is it just you doing the work? Is there enough time to change that? I understand this because many years ago I was the only advisor in our firm and it all depended on me. But today we have a team of advisors and specialists for our clients to lean on, and it makes my business far more pleasant to own and more valuable. Secondly, does your business have a written system of policies and procedures for how you do what you do to produce your product? Or is it all in your head? Buyers pay for operating systems. That's why people buy franchises. They're buying an operating system. If you've got enough time before you have to sell, we can help you get that stuff out of your head and onto paper. Thirdly, is your accounting in good order and is your business profitable? Recently, an advisor approached me about buying his firm, and when I looked at his financial records, I noticed that he had a large expenditure, about $75,000 on his books. That just didn't look right. When I inquired about it, he said, "Oh, that's where I remodeled my wife's kitchen." Well, unless you bake cookies for your business, then your spouse's kitchen or garage remodel probably shouldn't be on the books of your business. Another question that's important to ask is, do you have key employees who need to be incentivized to stay in your business? We've got strategies to create golden handcuffs that can cause those employees to settle in and not be looking for other opportunities elsewhere. So what I want you to do is put yourself in the shoes of a buyer. Would you buy your business? If the answer is yes, then why are you wanting to sell it? If you're reaching retirement age, that's a good reason. But if you're just tired of it, consider whether you need a serious heart-level reality check about your business's saleability. When you do sell your business, look for opportunities to reduce income taxes. We have strategies that some business owners use to avoid all the income taxes on the sale of their business. Now, those strategies don't work for everyone, but don't just pay the tax because you think you have to. Call us and we'll help you strategize about how to reduce your tax bill substantially. At the WealthCare Corporation, we've helped other business owners position themselves to sell their business more profitably and reduce or avoid the income taxes when they do. We'd be honored to help you in the same way. Back to you, Ralph.
Coming up next, have some important questions about retirement? Barry Watts can help you address them. Stay right here with us.
How does your future look in retirement? When you don't have a strategy, the future might look a little fuzzy. But with someone asking the right questions and helping you learn where you truly stand, it can become easier to work towards your goals. You need a plan to help generate income that will last as long as you need it. And the first step to creating an income plan is an analysis of where you are now. Let us help you bring your retirement into focus with your free income analysis today.
On the surface, your retirement plan might look solid. With your 401k or IRA, Social Security, investments, and insurance coverage, you appear to have it all covered. But what could you be missing? Below the surface, is your retirement exposed to too much risk? It's time for a deeper dive into your portfolio. We can help you uncover the risk that lies beneath the surface and learn about strategies to help preserve your savings. Get your free risk analysis today.
Planning for retirement can be complicated. Helping create income that lasts, making sure your health care is covered, investing while managing risk, and don't forget about taxes. If you're overwhelmed, you're not alone. The good news is we have what you need to give you confidence to start planning for your ideal retirement, all in one convenient resource. You'll get answers to some of your biggest retirement questions in this easy-to-understand, practical resource. And best of all, there's no cost to you. Take the first step toward a confident retirement and get yours today.
And the ever-exciting final part of our What's on Wealth show. Time now to answer your questions about retirement. Barry, I know you're ready.
Well, I am ready, Ralph. I love this section of our show because it gives us a chance to unpack answers to many of the questions that people have asked that I've covered in my new book, What's on Wealth. And we use questions from the radio show and the TV show to help us craft the topics that are covered in the book. And so I think people will find it a really interesting read. We'll send you a free autographed copy of the book if you'll just text book to the number that you see on the bottom of your TV screen.
Do that. And one thing, we're getting the pulse of real life in the Ozarks. We're getting your pulse about your situations. So here's our first question. And Barry, this comes from Rick in Conway. I've been worried about the markets. Boy, there's reason to be worried about it. So I got out because I couldn't handle the anxiety of it. How long should I be in cash before I try to get back into the markets?
Well, Rick, I think you're asking the wrong question. Ralph, what I would say to Rick is if he were sitting here in the studio or over the conference table with me, I would say, imagine if I answered 3 months is the answer. You should sit in cash for 3 months or 6 months or a year. And imagine if when that time was up, the economy and the markets were in a free fall. Would you reinvest just because you've been in cash for a randomly prescribed amount of time? I don't think so. The better thing to consider instead, Ralph, is what you want your investment strategy to accomplish. How much do you want in protected principal? What is your strategy, Rick, to buffer your stocks and your bonds or your mutual fund type accounts so they don't swing as dramatically with the markets? There are ways to dampen that volatility, and how much do you need in your now bucket to spend in the next year is an important question. We talk about retirement income in 3 buckets, Ralph. First, there's a now bucket. That's the money we're going to spend in the next year. Then there's a soon bucket. That's the amount of money that we're going to spend in years 2 and 3 and 4. And then there's a later bucket to grow for the years 5 and beyond. So a part of the strategy that Rick needs is to know how much needs to be in that bucket. And I understand you might not know, Rick, how to figure that out. That's what we do all day, every day at WealthCare, is help you to figure out how to position those buckets in such a way that you can have the most income that you need in retirement. So, Rick, here's one other thing I want you to be aware of. If you've got a financial advisor who is just selling you investments, but they aren't showing you how to lower your taxes or protect against stock market volatility, how to develop a lifetime income plan that will get you to life expectancy, at which, by the way, I think ought to be age 100, well, then I just want to ask, Rick, exactly what are you paying for? Give my office a call today, and we'll get a second opinion for you on what you're doing, because every day we help people just like you with questions just like the one you ask.
They certainly do. Some of the major things Barry talks about are protecting your principal, and he'll talk about that in your risk tolerance. But great question from Rick of should I have my money in the market, and how much money should I have in the market right now? Let's go right up I-44 to Lebanon, Missouri. This is Joanna who's writing you, Barry. I've been excited about the idea of retiring early. Now that I'm nearly to my self-imposed deadline, I'm getting a little nervous. Before I give my notice to my employer, how do I make sure that I am ready?
Well, we call this the famous hand-wringing dilemma. Oh my, should I or shouldn't I? I don't know what to do.
Should I stay or should I go?
So the first thing I would say to you, Joanna, is congratulations on being kind of ready to retire. It's exciting. And that should be a time that you look forward to with a tremendous amount of confidence instead of fearful with anxiety and uncertainty. In fact, that's why I developed the 6 Steps to Retirement Confidence. It's our planning process. It's so you don't have to wring your hands. You don't have to worry. You can go through the 6 steps knowing for certain what your income is going to look like every year of your retirement all the way through the end of your life, we say to age 100. And we make certain that you'll pay the least amount of taxes possible and that you're invested in a way that matches your personal preference with regard to risk and growth. You'll have a strategy that deals with long-term care, and you'll have an estate plan completed so that your assets go where you want them to go, when you want them to go there. The 6 Steps to Retirement Confidence was designed just for people like you, Joanna, and I can't wait to walk you through the process. So call our office today, and we'll get you started climbing the 6 Steps to Retirement Confidence.
We will. Time for one more question, Barry, and this is from Troy in Fairgrove, Missouri. So let's get to Troy. A couple of friends I work with, they're retiring early, claiming their Social Security benefits right away. At age 62, I want to be smart about this. How do I figure out the right time to start claiming my benefits?
Well, Troy, thanks for your question, by the way. I hope everything's going okay up in Fairgrove. Now, the perfect way to know perfectly when you ought to take Social Security is to die. And once you die, we'll know exactly what you should have done. Now, obviously, I speak in jest, but the answer really depends on what you're trying to do. Are you committed to getting the maximum amount of dollars out of Social Security? Then maybe you want to wait until you're 70. And if you live long enough, then you'll beat the government at its game. Do you expect an early death? Maybe you should take Social Security at age 62. But if you want to keep working for a while, realize that Social Security at 62, they're going to take about 1/3 of your benefits from you over your lifetime, and you're going to have to give back 50 cents for every dollar that you earn over about $22,000. So this is definitely a case where one size doesn't fit everyone. So Troy, I don't want you to be led by group think. Just because all the guys at work are going to claim early doesn't mean that you necessarily should. We've got at WealthCare a Social Security specialist, and just like we have a Medicare specialist and a tax specialist and an estate planning specialist, we have a Social Security specialist. His name is Jeremy, and he can help you figure out exactly when the optimum time is for you to take Social Security based on your unique facts and circumstances.
Well, if you want to know some ways to generate lifetime income, cut into that tax bill that you owe to the government, and maintain the lifestyle you want in retirement, reach out now to Barry Watts and the WealthCare Corporation. Start planning that ideal retirement. I'm Ralph Hipp, and for Barry Watts of the WealthCare Corporation, have a great day, and we'll see you again next time.